This is Beat the Press.
Hello, welcome to Beat the Press on TV and streaming online. I'm Emily Rooney, and I'm joined by a panel of journalists here to weigh in on the big media stories of the week. First up, NESN booth announcer Jerry Remy announced this week he'll be back at his perch above Fenway Park at the start of the Red Sox season in April. Remy has been on leave since his son Jared was accused of murdering his girlfriend, Jennifer Martel. While Remy has ended the speculation over what he'll do, it's a controversial move. Red Sox booth announcer Jerry Remy is the much-beloved voice of the Sox, and he's been open about his struggles. Lung cancer in 2008, followed by a debilitating bout of depression.
I couldn't do my job, and things were spiraling downhill from there.
Last summer, Remy missed a month of games due to pneumonia, returning in late June. Then, the unthinkable.
We have some breaking news right now out of Waltham. Jared Remy is a suspect in a deadly Waltham stabbing.
Remy has not appeared in the broadcast booth since his son was charged with murder last August. But this week, he told a group of sports writers he plans to return.
I think it's going to be really difficult for him. If it were me, if I were advising him, a friend of his, I'd say, probably at least take this year off.
WEEI's Kirk Minahan is sympathetic. After all, Jerry Remy is not accused of any crime, but he thinks the burden will be too much.
Is he going to be able to go every night at 7:05 with Ursillo on NESN and suddenly become the Rem dog again? Turn it on? I don't know. My guess is I don't think so, Emily. I don't think he makes it through the year. I think at some point this year he's going to say, this isn't working, and he walks.
And, of course, all the sports writers have an opinion. The Boston Globe's Dan Shaughnessy thinks Remy deserves a break. The Boston Herald's Steve Buckley says it's a mistake. But as Kurt Minahan says, it's really all up to Remy.
I think he deserves and has earned the right to come back. We'll see how it goes. Now, I think Remy is a smart guy. I think he's going to know right away, a couple of weeks, couple of months in, if this isn't working. If it's not working, I think he'll quit.
No doubt Jerry Remy's fans are pulling for him. So should Jerry Remy return to the broadcast booth? Joining us to hash it out are author and journalist Roy Harris, Neiman journalist fellow Susie Banakarim, Callie Crossley of WGBH News, and Dan Kennedy of Northeastern University. I think everybody sort of feels the same way about this, which is that, of course, it's his right to do this, and it's his livelihood. And I'm sure he missed it last year, and he felt like he just couldn't come back. And I think, as we all read, he really weighed this thing. The question is going to be about the viewers going forward. Are they going to feel uncomfortable watching him, or are they going to turn away from the Red Sox games? And if that happens, then both Jerry Remy and I think NESN are going to have to come to some kind of an agreement about this, because if it's turning off viewers, if viewers are, every time they see Jerry Remy, all they can think about is the fact that his son murdered somebody, or there's a little girl who's been placed in a foster home and is not with any set of parents right now, that could be problematic.
You know, it's funny. I've changed my mind about this. We talked about this last summer, and at the time I thought he should be able to come back and he should be able to get on with his life. Now that the moment is upon us, I'm not so sure. I think he deserves a chance to try, but I kind of have a feeling that after about a month, if it's not working, that could very well be it for Jerry Remy. I mean, it's too bad. He is not accused of a crime. He was kind of a beloved figure. I think he still is. But the whole Don Orsillo, Jerry Remy shtick is built on lightness and humor and all that. It's going to be very difficult.
He'll have a lot of sentimental support right away. I mean, I don't think there's any question people will be tuning in support. I mean, they support him as obviously as an announcer, but to support him as a dad as well. The problem, of course, is that the case is going to keep rolling. And as events overtake us with the trial, then he's going to have to deal with that from day to day. The other thing that was on my mind is it's another test of the John Henry ownership of the Globe. I must admit I was kind of brought up short reading another Dan Shaughnessy column on the front page about Jerry Remy. I think there were two columnists who weighed in, and it made me think again, as we've talked several times, how are we going to see a Red Sox owner running the paper? I think that's a question, is you're going to see, if you continue to see columnists on the front page, I think it's disturbing.
That's a story that probably would have gotten that kind of coverage, whether or not, you know, John Henry owned the Globe. I mean, it's a big story. It's a big local story, and he's a big public figure. I think that as long as he doesn't use the platform to advocate for his son or talk about the trial or advocate for the custody of his granddaughter, which he's fighting for, I think he should be given the chance. I mean, I agree with you. If it doesn't work, then pull him after a month. But if he were a lawyer or, you know, a cop, we wouldn't suggest that he should just sit home and sort of wallow in his family's misery. He has 2 other children and other grandchildren. He has to set an example. They have to go on. And I think a lot of people viewing our parents and realize that you do the best you can, but you don't know, you know, how your kids turn out always.
I think there will be lots of sympathy for him, as Roy has said, and, you know, he'll embrace that. But what I predict is self-censorship, because as I understand sports banter, it's just pulling from every aspect of your life. So, you know, whatever flies into your head that, you know, seems to resonate in the moment, that comes from just you living your life, is what you connect to talking about what's going on. And if you're not able to do that freely because you're constantly worried that I don't want anybody to think that because I said this, I'm making light of or not thinking about or being rude or whatever.
Exactly.
I think that's the issue.
Or even some of the language, you know, oh, that was a killer ball or something like that, you know. Is he going to be measured? Is he going to feel like there's certain things
I think he is going to feel like that. And I think it's entirely his decision to make about how comfortable he can be self-censoring. But I think that's going to be part of the job for him now if he continues, just because of the nature of the situation.